the Divine Mother, Kundalini Shakti. So what's up, everyone? Today's video, we're going to be diving into what is Kundalini energy Shakti and who is the Divine Mother or the Goddess in the Tantric traditions. So when it comes to Kundalini awakening, we have to realize that we are essentially becoming an instrument for the divine. And that's the ideal, is that we are using our body through yoga, through tantra, through meditation, through spiritual practice. We are aligning ourselves with the divine energy. This is known as Shakti. So Shakti is the divine feminine counterpart to Shiva, or the omniscient, the one-pointed consciousness in the third eye. And this Kundalini rests in the root chakra, dormant, the Shakti energy, the life force potential, where every single person has this potential inside of them. And it's a unique gift of the human being to be able to consciously cultivate a relationship with Shakti and this life force energy. Whereas if we look at nature, all of nature is pervaded by the mother. That's why we say the Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. And all of it is pervaded with Shakti. But nature is bound, rather, to that Shakti. Whereas the humans, we have a unique experience that we are not bound only to nature or our natural impulses. We have consciousness, meaning we have the ability to choose. We have the ability to make choices. And so when it comes to our Kundalini, we have to choose a path of surrender to the Divine Mother. So this is where we get into devotion, and why to look at God as only this male archetype, which much of the religions of the world give to us, just that male component. If we look deeper, there was always a feminine counterpart. No matter how they changed the words in the translations, there was always this feminine counterpart to the almighty presence of God. And this was the Shekinah in the Old Testament, in the Old Hebrew. Shakti, Shekinah, very similar sound, that sh sound. And also the Holy Spirit, seen as that divine breath, that presence of God that we feel when we are in devotion and rapture and surrender to God. So even in the religious traditions, this feminine counterpart, or this Kundalini Shakti, was always there. Just the words were changed, and then it was made, it's only a masculine God. Why would God be feminine? This and that. But we look at creation, like nature, like I said, and it's all more of that feminine, that submissive, that nature just flows with what is. It does what it is, sent to do, essentially. And it does it very well. Where we as the humans, we have forgotten our connection to nature, to life, to the mother. And especially in the religious and the spiritual sense, we're told to think that God is only this, ruling, mean, that patriarchal system sort of mentality. And we need that element as much as we need the divine feminine. So when it comes to this divine feminine, it's not to get confused with this feminism that's coming in today's world. Because, here I am, a guy talking about the divine feminine and all this stuff. People get all these ideas. I've already dealt with plenty of that. So, bring it on. I'm ready for you this time. But at the same time, we have to realize that all of us have Shiva and Shakti, or feminine and masculine, or yin and yang qualities inside of us, positive and negative, like a battery. It doesn't work without both charges. So rather than this being a gender war or a gender thing, we have to just see that God encompasses more than just what our minds want to say. This is God, and anything that isn't God, that doesn't work. And, I grew up religious, and I still tend to learn from religions and follow Christ and his teachings and read the Bible and all these things. And some people call me New Age because I bring these different ideas together. But in reality, if you can read what's actually there beyond just the words and the boxes that we're trying to put God into, we start to see with this reality. Because even Christ, Yeshua, had his Kundalini activated. He even said, "Be ye wise as serpents and peaceful as doves." That snake, that serpent, because we have to raise the Kundalini, that wisdom, goddess of wisdom, Sophia in the Gnostic tradition, Sophia. And this understanding that we have to raise this life force energy within us, that we have to live in surrender and service to God's creation. That is how we serve God, not just by saying, okay, this world is, the illusion and this and that, so who cares what's done on earth and this and that, and we just need to renounce and go to God and be, brutal and all that sort of stuff, when that's a very rigid, boxed mentality. And I'm here to show you that Shakti is the liberation of our divine energy as co-creators. Just like the Spirit of Christ is within each one of us. And he said to go and do greater things. Religion will tell you, oh, only he can do it. He's the best. He's the greatest. And this and that. And I venerate and love Yeshua and venerate his teachings. But we have to understand how the religion takes those teachings and then says, okay, this is how it has to be. This is how you have to accept it. If not, then you're not a religious person. You're not, you're a devil worshiper and all this stuff. And it's really damaging to the human psyche to be treated that way. And I know that because I've gotten a lot of religious oppression as a guy talking about the divine feminine and someone who talks about Christ and his teachings. Because he was teaching us Kundalini awakening. He was teaching us, for thine eye to be single, thy body will be full of light. This is your third eye, your third eye becoming single-pointed when you meditate on that third eye, and the body becomes full of light, the light body. And then also he says if your eye is bad, then the body will be full of darkness. So just to point out, if you want to take that dark path and choose to deny the light of Christ and all that stuff, you can live in darkness, and that's okay too, because he did bring salvation and healing and righteousness to a broken people, that we fell into this world and forgot our connection to God, which comes through a connection to the Divine Mother. And that's a whole nother subject. I won't go too deep into that because there's many speculations and theories around that. And even what I'm saying, don't take this all as face value. Take it for yourself, take it into your own life, and then, look around, see what's out there, see what other perspectives are out there besides the religious ideology around it, and you might start to see the similarities and the spiritual secrets hidden within Scripture. But let's get back to Kundalini as the Divine Mother, because what is a Divine Mother? She's the nurturer, the life giver, the womb bearer. She brings us into this world, and she takes us back. The earth takes our bodies back, and hopefully we've lived a life in tune with the soul. This doesn't mean you never make mistakes. That's why we have the concept of forgiveness of sin, because we all make those mistakes. But it's surrendering to the divine that you're going to experience what you could say duality. And so we begin to transcend duality in Tantra, that non-duality consciousness, where we start to see the bad, we start to see the good in the bad, or the lesson, the growth that comes through facing challenging situations in life. Because you can't run from this, but you can learn from this life. Some people are like, oh, this world's terrible and it's evil and it's run by these demonic things and oppression. And yeah, sure, we can see that. We can see that consciousness, that darkness of consciousness, very prevalent in today's world. We have people fighting over religions, over beliefs, over the earth, that should be sovereign for all life. And the Mother shows us this. She teaches us that everything is pulsating with life. Therefore, everything has a purpose here. Every experience, those challenging experiences, can bring new life if you're willing to go through them and to overcome them. How do you overcome them? With the grace of the Divine Mother, through Kundalini awakening. Now, this is why I disagree with a lot of the New Age Kundalini, because they don't really talk about the Divine Mother, the Shakti. They may mention it, or they may say, you know, it's this serpent in your root chakra and she's going to uncoil and this and that. And then instantly that causes religious fear in a lot of people, because we're told that the serpent is the knowledge of good and evil, when in reality, this is that duality presenting itself again. Another story about duality. And do we choose to be pulled by this evil and then good and evil, that duality, you know, that scale, or are we even and single, unified in our consciousness, 11:11 on the clock? That one-pointedness, if we can get there, that's how we get to the tree of life. But it's through falling into separation consciousness, or what we call sin, separation from God consciousness, that we lose that original spark of divinity that was in us. So we have to go through the process of awakening Kundalini. And the serpent is just a representation for the way the energy moves, like a wave, like a frequency. When they say everything is energy, frequency, and vibration, this is like that Kundalini that is going to rise through your body, through your spine. It's a divine energy. It's not something to be scared of. There's a lot of fear around the Kundalini, especially in the religious communities, especially in the spiritual communities, because there are people that abuse this energy and use it to control others, use it for whatever reasons they may have. And so we have to be humble to the Divine Mother. We have to surrender to her. Pray and speak with her. Come out into nature. Speak to nature. Listen to nature. You know, prayer's not always about, oh, God, give me this, or, oh, Great Mother, you know, I need these things. Sometimes it's about listening to what God and Goddess can speak to us. Nature's always speaking. The birds over there, the wind blowing. This is all Kundalini. This is all Shakti. The life force flowing through everything. Not just us. We're not so special. You know, we are in the fact that we have the conscious ability to cultivate our Kundalini to higher states of consciousness, the 7 chakras, and unfolding into the many. But just the basic with the 6 to the 7 chakra system. Everything has this Kundalini energy, but we are gifted with the ability to cultivate it. Now, are we going to do that? Are we going to walk the path of yoga and tantra, and not about being a perfect person, not about being this, oh, I'm all the time namaste and cheerio, and people will take advantage of that real quick. Let me tell you from my experience. You get this Kundalini awakening and you're like, why is this dude blissed out, you know? Why is he just smiling for no reason? Why is he just happy? How dare you be happy? There's terrible things happening in the world. Yeah, I know. It's terrible. And we got to do something about it. And that change comes from within our own hearts and our own minds, finding joy and peace and bliss from within so that we can actually share that with one another. But there's a lot of hate in the modern world. There's a lot of violence in the modern world. And I'm no better. I'm learning. I'm growing. But I learned the more I showed my blissful, happy side to people that don't like this, you know, this topic I'm bringing up, the more pushback and resistance, you know, the more they wanted to put me down and make me feel stupid for the things I was talking about. You know, I lost friends because of this. Relationships, family members treat me differently, everything, the whole 9. And it's just like realizing that not everyone is ready to see the divinity of God in everything. And this is what the Kundalini awakening does. Once that crown chakra starts to pop, you start to see that everything's alive and animated with this breath. Spirit means breath, the breath of life. That's why we do pranayama, because we're charging the breath of life with that prana, so that Shakti awakens. When Shakti awakens, she awakens our prana, our energy system. This gives us new energy, new experiences. And it's not an outward experience, it's an inward experience. That's why people don't understand this when you try to explain these things. So I say, hey, don't explain these things. That's why I've created a group over on Patreon where we're doing bi-weekly, twice a month, support circles to talk about these things, to go deeper into meditation, to go deeper into reasoning, to speak on the different aspects of the Mother Goddess and how we can work with her energies in Tantra, and how she will protect us and guide us on our awakening journey to come home to the Father, to the Almighty, when we reach those higher chakras. So go check out the Patreon group if you'd like to get involved with this, and you can subscribe there. You can also subscribe for weekly yoga lessons. If you'd like to have one-on-one personalized lessons and someone to talk to about these experiences that you may be going through, because I know how challenging that is to go through this on your own. I've been doing this path for about 10 years, and I've met some yogis over the years, but so many of us are caught up in the game. And it's like, yeah, I like to hear that stuff, but I don't want to really talk about it. It's like, it's that topic, that subject. Or the women, we are the divine feminine. How dare a masculine man talk about the divine feminine energy and Shakti and the whole feminist movement. And guys are like, oh, you're gay, dude. You're like tripping. You're a Satanist. You're this, you're that. And I've seen all these crowds, from all different walks of life. And I just try to reason, I just try to be like, well, where do we meet in the middle? Where do I learn from you and where can you learn from me, rather than this, how dare you talk about something that you've learned deeply about and has changed your perspective on life. And this is what Kundalini does. She awakens you to life. She awakens you to the beauty of life, the blessing of life, the presence of life, and the journey that it takes to actually walk the yogic path in a modern world. So we need Tantra. We need this non-dualistic perspective that allows us to see how everything is connected, that we are connected even through this technology, but on a deeper level, we are connected in the heart to the field of all creation. This is the unified field theory in quantum physics and science, and nowadays they're proving this web of life matrix, if you break it down, as matrix, or mother, matre, matrika, the divine mother, the divine womb. And they talk about that matrix, they're talking about the divine mother. We live in her. She is life itself, and yet she's also beyond it, transcendent of it. She deals with all three aspects of creation: the creation, the maintenance, and the destruction. And she also transcends them. Tripura Sundari, Queen of the Three Worlds, the Lady of the Three Worlds. And when we understand a connection to her, this is when we can start to have these experiences of Kundalini awakening, because all awakening only comes through the grace of Divine Mother, of Shakti, and of God's grace. So you can do all the practices you want, you can even chant the mantras and do the things, but if your heart, if your devotion, the bhakti isn't there, it's less effective. And it's also kind of divisive. So we need to have a heart. Our heart chakra needs to be beating for that love of the mother, that love of nature, that love of life itself. So we don't get caught up in the religiosity of, okay, we got to be this perfect thing, and celibacy is a challenging thing, and cultivating your sexual energy in a world that's so overstimulated is a challenging thing, because that's like the mother. It's like, well, she's also the darker side too. And so she asks us, which side do we want to raise the energy, or do we want to lower that energy into our lowest chakras and be like animals? Because like I said, the animals don't have that choice. They just flow with the mother. They just flow with what they're programmed to do. And they do just fine. They eat, everything happens well. And when we were in that state of purity, we lived that way too. And now we've forgotten. We have technology, which is a beautiful thing, but it can distract us from this reality that's right here in front of us, right here inside of us. So the Divine Mother calls us out of our ignorance. She is the true guru. All gurus, if they are an enlightened being, come from the grace of the Divine Mother. So don't let anyone trick you and make you think that they're the only ones that can get you there. They're the only ones that are there. Because only by the grace of Divine Mother will this experience truly happen. You may have some minor Kundalini symptoms. You might feel some euphoria. You may have a spontaneous awakening. And then you're just like, how do I get back to that? Some people go crazy. Some people go into psychosis and all sorts of stuff, because they can't handle the third eye. Once it starts opening, it's so intense. You can hear people's thoughts and emotions of you. Just walk into a room, and instead of talking, you observe and you listen how people respond to your energy. And you start to pick up on the subtle cues, like you're literally hearing people's subconscious mind just by observing them, just by seeing their body language, just by the choices they make. Not to judge them, to observe them, and then to be like, oh, I need to distance myself from this person. Like, they do not like my energy, because you activate your energy. Shakti activates inside of you. You have an expand aura field now, so people feel your energy too. And people feel that Kundalini energy when you come around. Some people like it. Some people want to experience that because they're so suppressed in these lower chakras. Their sexual energy is so blocked, and the root chakra is like, we're in survival mode. I know, I've been there too. I don't say this stuff to be rude or mean, because I've been in all these low places. Not some special thing, even though we are all unique and special by the grace and blessing of God and Goddess. And when we remember that unity of the Divine Mother is how we get to that Heavenly Father, to that higher self, to the heavens, then we start to understand how deep this can go. And so, like I said, if you want to book a session with us, check out the links in our description. Subscribe on Patreon for monthly connection, and that's where we can really go deeper into these subjects. I'm also open to just a regular call where we can talk about some of your experiences, and then we'll work on a yoga routine that works for you to get this energy going, because you don't just activate your Kundalini like that. That's this new age stuff. That's what it gets you to do. It just goes, okay, here we go, boom. And you probably don't have any preparation for the amount of prana and Shakti that's going to flow through your system. So that's why it fries most people. So we're offering the safe, long-term process of Kundalini, where you can also use the videos on this channel and the mantras and meditations to help aid that journey. But really, that 101 experience is needed with this Kundalini, of someone who's experienced it on various levels, gone into those dark nights of the soul, and come out as a new being reborn, that you have to be reborn. That's why they say you're being born again in Christian when you come to Christ, because he renews us, and he renews us over and over again. And the Great Mother renews us, and she renews us over and over again. As long as we're willing to go into the challenging places and come out of them. It's one thing to go into it. You know, everyone experiences depression and challenging emotions and challenging life situations and losing people and losing jobs and friendships and relationships and everything else. It's how do we go through them? How do we come back stronger? And that's to surrender to the divine grace of the Mother. And she nurtures us back to life, just like a mother would do. A mother would nurture you back to life. And like I said before, this divine feminine lives in man and woman, just like the divine masculine lives in man and woman. So we're not separated from this experience. So don't let anyone take that from you either. But it doesn't mean to be, effeminate as a man, and doesn't mean to be, a masculine as a woman. It just is part of the reality, the left and the right hemispheres. Yoga is balancing, coming back to center, unifying the left and the right, the Shakti and the Shiva. And the Kundalini has to make its journey from the root to the third eye, so the crown and that vision can be restored. So it is a path of unity. It is a path of unifying ourselves with God, unifying our body with the soul and the spirit. And when we do that, we come out stronger. So book a session with us. Subscribe over on Patreon for the monthly access so we can get a group going there. I'm really looking forward to having more people in there and being able to support y'all on your journey, especially if you're just starting out. I've been on this journey for over 10 years now, and the longer I go, the more exciting and mysterious it gets. So, I give thanks to the Divine Mother. I give all praise to the Most High, and pray that you find your way and that these videos can be of assistance to you, that they can help your journey and help you heal and help you come closer to that connection to God and that source within, and to see the Divine Mother as well as equal with God and one and the same, and that they unify and that they are one and unified, and also different expressions, so we can go deeper into understanding the mystery of life. So check out some of the other videos. If you like this channel, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and plenty of other content on here, mantra meditations, and everything that you can check out to help your journey. I love y'all so much. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Namaste.